All right.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Can you all hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. It's a huge honor to find myself in the midst of people who are passionate about education. Right, I live and breathe education, so this is something that is so personal to me, and not just for career sake, not just for because it's what I do to earn a living, but because I'm deeply passionate. Like I used to tell people, I call myself a victim of passion. Because I studied accounting in school for my first degree, but then found myself in education, right? And then this is something that I love doing right from my National Youth Service year. So it's always an exciting time, for those who are Christians among us, there's a part in the scripture where I think the psalmist said that I'm always, happy when they say, let us go to the house of the Lord. So for me, when they say, let us go to where education is cost, I'm super excited to be there, right? And I'm so sorry I joined in late. I've not been part of the program for the start, had little emergency, but I'm here right now this evening, to share. I might not take too long. I might not even exhaust my time, really, for the time allotted to me. But I think that, once we are going to, what I'm going to be saying really is not something new. It's something that we all know. People used to say that technology is the future. But right now, the narrative has changed, right? They say technology is now, right? Technology is now. Technology is what is happening now. And then today, I'm really going to be talking about, using technology to advance education in Africa. I don't know why technology and Africa sound really like antonyms. So they sound really like they're antagonizing each other.
The other side, yeah.
On the other sides, right? So, but it's a very good conversation for us to be having, bringing education, technology, and Africa together, right? And putting innovation, using it to tie them all. So before I go ahead, I'm so sorry. I don't know if people have done proper introductions before at the initial, at the beginning of the session, but I'll be happy to know, right, what you do right in the education space. So you can just type in the chat box, oh, I'm a teacher, or I'm a student studying education program, or I'm a school owner. I just want to know my audience, right? So we know which angle to go into with the discussion. So please, in the chat box, I like chat box to be bubbling right now with what you do in the education space. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Ms. Betsy. You're a teacher. Yes, I'm a teacher as well.
All right. Please introduce yourselves in the comment section so that we know how to drive this conversation. In the meantime, Kayode, can you give us a brief introduction into what Schoolinka is about and what you do there?
All right. So Schoolinka, like you rightly read out during the bio, is an edtech social enterprise. And basically what we do is that we leverage technology to design exciting professional development opportunities for teachers in Africa. So one thing we found out is that there's a dearth of teacher quality in Africa, right? So there is poor quality of educators. We have the good ones, the extraordinary teachers, but they are few compared to the number of teachers who just woke up into the profession, just like I did when I started working in the education space. And most times these teachers go for so many years without getting trained, a teacher going as far as 12 years without attending a training program. And you can just imagine in your heart what kind of learning is happening in the classroom of this teacher. So what we are doing at Schoolinka basically is to help people that are at home to sit down and be confident of those who are standing in front of their children in the classroom. We want competent teachers to lead learning. We want competent teachers to stand in front of the classroom. And so we started in 2019, right? Started designing, in-person training programs. And our focus is mainly on, schools or teachers in low-income schools, teachers that cannot normally afford. I don't know if anyone can hear me because I think Tia is frozen. So I want to be sure if my internet is still fine. And it's not, is my internet fine? Can you hear me? Okay.
No, I think I can, and I'm sure everybody can as well.
Okay, all right, great, awesome, right. So like what we wanted to do is like, okay, we want to make people confident at home. So we started in 2019, and we started training programs for teachers, right? Teachers walk into our learning center in Maryland, in Allen Avenue, in Ikeja, and then take a training. They can take a training on classroom management for as low as 2,000, 3,000 naira. I mean, they come into our learn to learn for almost free, or sometimes even free. We've had teacher growth master classes that happens, like, we've trained over hundreds of teachers in that program, and it is fully free. They come, they even have, lunch to eat as well. And then how we fund this training program is basically, by, speaking to organizations or individuals who like to sponsor this training of teachers. And what we do is that we do not compromise quality, even if this training is free. Teachers get the best of training programs available, because we invite educators with expertise and experience to lead this training program. So these are the same educators they see at the training program that is organized for 50,000 naira. So what we do at School Card, because we're a social enterprise, we invite these educators to volunteer on our faculty. So these educators deliver the same quality they deliver at premium training programs to the teachers we work with, because we work with low-income teachers mostly. And so what we're doing basically is to democratize learning for teachers in Africa. However, we knew that if we wanted to grow in terms of revenue, if we wanted to remain sustainable, then we need to look for the numbers. We can't train teachers collecting 2,000, 3,000 and expect to just train like 50 teachers and, believe that you can cover the expenses. No, we wanted the program to run sustainably. And that's how we started thinking of how to bring technology into play. So when technology came, right, we started looking at how we can, lead instructor-led online classes and all of these things, till the point where we created our online learning platform for teachers. And that's what we're currently working to build right now, to play a lot of courses on that platform, so teachers can just sign up as a user and learn from anywhere they are. And that's how we brought technology into work that we
do. Okay. All right. Great work you're doing over at Schooling Card. So let's talk about the importance. You started talking about it with, adapting it into your platform. But let's go further and talk about the importance to adapt technology into our educational systems in Africa and its benefits. So we are talking about the importance and benefits of technology in our educational systems.
Great. Thank you so much for that question. So like I was saying before, right, in Africa, right, we have, people place technology and Africa on two sides of the coin. And it's like really terrible, right? And it's because we recognize, we understand the huge digital divide in sub-Saharan Africa. Technology is not really accessible for everyone. Even if we have majority of people having access to technology, but we have millions of people as well in remote communities that do not have access to technology at all. And so when people talk about education and technology, people just try to wave it off. But waving off is not really the solution, because the age that Africa currently is right now, the Asians have been at that age as well. The Americans have been at that age before. The Europeans have been at that age before, where technology was actually like a big issue for them. But as time goes on, technology was able to penetrate into their nooks and crannies. And that's how it's going to be in Africa as well. And the interesting part is that nothing or nobody can stop technology from going into the remotest communities, because that started happening. We can see it, right? So technology is not the future. It is now. And we need to know how to leverage it to improve learning in the classroom for the students that we work with, and then even for parents and teachers as well. So among many benefits of what technology can do, I'm just going to be sharing a few. And one thing that I know that technology can really help us do is that, one, it simplifies access. Technology simplifies access. When I say access, right, I mean access to educational resources, access to educational personnel, access to educational materials, access to anything education. Technology improves access, right? So, for example, we know what Google does for us, right? Like people, in fact, right? At church one time, someone was saying that people go to Google before they even go to God. So that's how it is, right? We need something, we quickly go to Google, blah, 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 and then we search for it, And in split seconds, we have the information available to us right in front of us without even ever having to pay for it. So there are loads of information on Google that are really beneficial and super educative. And that's just Google alone. We have other platforms that make education resources available, even just on WhatsApp alone. Technology is making education access available. We are currently on Zoom call right now, this a program, and then a lot of people are learning throughout the sessions since yesterday. If not for technology, right, we might be trying to look for money to transport ourselves to the venue and all of these things. So, but technology came with access. And the access sometimes can be restrictive and unrestrictive, depending on how you want it. So technology is a big facilitator of access. And that's one big thing, right? When it comes to education, access is a key thing. So even with children in local communities, the point is, the issue we used to have is that children in local communities, in low-income communities, do not have access to schools. They don't have access to education. But this is what technology can help us correct and provide solution. We have seen education being taken to remote villages using technology. We have seen teachers teaching just by technology access. For example, the Bridge International Academy is a big example of that, right? Where they take education to remote communities and train their teachers and also teach their students using technology from a central location. So right now, university students are talking about, for example, University of Lagos resumed today, and they are doing online classes all through. So my sister is currently staying in my place, and then she's going to have classes online. She doesn't have to be in school. So technology brings access, to education, improves access. Another thing that technology does is that it improves the learning experience, right? A lot of people say that, nothing can be like a physical classroom, nothing at all, right? You can never change you can never duplicate, or not duplicate or interchange the physical classroom with the online classroom. Of course, we can never. But the truth is, if you explore technology well, it has a way of even helping your students learn better. There are a lot of tools that work well. There are a lot of tools that can test your children's knowledge. One, the truth is, when it comes to learning, students, both young and old, like learning to be exciting and fun. Normally, some teachers are not able to make learning fun, actually, physically when they teach. But when they use technology, you can see the wonders that they will create, because there are tools that can even help you make learning very interesting. We've seen, tools that can help you create educational videos, tools that can help you create quizzes and tests that I like using children, that students can use to answer questions and then, enjoy themselves while they learn. Even right now, like I've seen a lot of online classrooms, and I'm like, wow. I don't think we'll have the kind of fulfillment we have, if we are learning in the four walls of the classroom. There was a survey that was recently carried out, I think by UNESCO, and just to gauge, measure what learning performance looks like when schools transition to online learning. And they found that students are performing better during this period when they are on online learning than before, when they were actually in the four walls of the classroom. And that's because there are a lot of tools that are available for them to use. They learn at their own pace, right? They enjoy learning, because a student can actually sit down on his bed or her bed and learn, and not just a must sit down on a chair to look at a teacher facing you, right? So technology helps to improve student learning experience. Another thing that technology does is that it actually help students learn at their own pace. I'm currently taking a program, at the University of Alberta in the US, and I don't have to be in the US to take this program. I'm taking it from the four walls of my room in Nigeria, and I can learn at my pace. So, for example, if I don't want to learn this week, I don't learn. Right? If I want to learn next week and say all my classes, I want to take it next week, I'm going to take it next week. So that's what technology does. It helps students have access to comfortability and learn at their own pace. Another thing that technology does is that it helps students prepare for the work of the future, the career of the future. My friend that works at KPMG is one of the foremost auditing firms in the world, if not the world, right? So it's one of the big fours, right? And ever since the pandemic, he has been working fully online, right? He has been doing everything online. And that's the future, right? It's not even the future, it's already happening right now. A lot of organizations.
When they first started creating videos, creating like content for
Okay, yeah, all right. So a lot of organizations are shutting down their physical offices right now, but we have students right now who don't even know how to operate computers. So tell me, how will these students fit into the career of the future or the work of the future, whatever it is that they're going to live in, right? So what technology does is that it helps the student familiar with all these tools, all these devices, all these platforms, so that by the time they get into the workspace, they are able to deliver better. Another thing that technology does basically is that it helps us reduce cost of learning. And I'm going to stop here for a while, right? So it helps us reduce cost of learning. Something that, and I'm going to use Schooling as a case study. I told you at one point that, when we do our physical training programs for teachers, we have the hall, we pay for the hall, we pay for the learning space, we pay for the food, we pay for everything. In fact, we use technology, the internet, and then we still pay for internet. But right now, if we have a training program, the only thing we need to purchase is internet. With internet and our computer, we're able to log on to learning and then learn as much as possible and connect with the teachers that we work with. And we don't have to buy food for teachers. We don't have to buy, pay for a hall or something. So technology has really helped to reduce the cost of learning to the barest minimum. So people have access to learn, like I mentioned Google, right? There are even online learning platforms, edx.org, udemy.com, all these online learning platforms that you can take free online courses. You don't have to pay for it. These are courses that are delivered by universities abroad, right? You can improve your skills without even paying a dime. All you need is just internet and then your computer or your mobile phone. So technology has really helped us simplify learning and made learning very, very cheap. One thing that you start seeing springing up in Nigeria, trust me, is online schools. You see people who want to go to secondary school and then they don't have to go to a physical four wall of a classroom. They just register to an online school and then they take their classes online. So every day from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., or maybe from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., or maybe from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., that's your school time, right? And they take classes SS1 to SS3, GS1 to GS3 online, and then they come write their examinations, WAEC or something, and get into school. That's what's going to happen. There'll be online school. So what technology is telling me that I don't have to look for one plot of land in one estate to build my school before students come to me. In fact, students can come to me, they sit down in their homes, and then they pay lesser than, for example, if they are paying 100,000 in a particular school to attend the school physically, and I tell them, oh, for a whole term, I will only collect 20,000 from you, and you have access to teachers, right? At that point in time, I'm telling you that you can come to school for cheaper price, and then you have access to quality teachers, because I'll be looking at quality teachers. I'll look at teachers that are working at Green Springs, the teachers that works at Meadow Hall, and tell them, oh, you can do your work at Meadow Hall from 8 to 2 p.m. or 3 p.m., but come to my school from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and earn extra income and then work as a teacher as well in my online school. So teachers are going to earn more because they have the opportunity to learn, or sorry, to teach in 2 different schools or 3 different online schools at the same time. They don't have a staff room to always sit down every day. They are free to actually teach at 4, 5 schools, 4, 5 online schools at the same time and earn salary. And then, right, schools are, students are able to like pay cheaper price, and then I, as a school owner, have cheaper cost of running my school. Everyone is a win-win situation, and this is going to happen, right? People are building these solutions, and it's going to work well. It's going to be a win-win situation. So technology will help us to decrease the cost of learning, really, so much and so much. So let me just stop here at this point, and then let me stop. I think I've shared enough in terms of benefit. There are tons of benefits of technology, really.
Yes, thank you so much for that. So we are talking about leveraging leveraging technology in the education system. Now let's talk about sustainability. How sustainable is the adaptation of technology in our schools, and especially for schools, in the rural areas? How can we ensure that no school is left out?
Yeah, so that's a question of access that everyone keeps asking. So every event that I go to speak about technology, they're always asking me, especially for children in low income, this thing. That's the song that everybody keeps singing, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is going to get there, right? So and I'm going to give an analogy. You see, You know, a lot of people think a lot of impossibilities until they become possible in their faces and in their very own eyes. You know, when they manufactured vehicles, cars, right? They manufactured, you know, the Beetles or all those old Volkswagens of those days, those Mercedes Benz and Volvo and whatever it is, right? You know, when they started that time, Ford, and then they introduced it to people and said, this is the new device that will move us around. A lot of people went against it. They were like, no, lie, me, I can never enter this car. It's better I go with donkey and horses. Why? Because donkey and horses have eyes. They can see when you want to fall into the pit and they will jump over the pit, right? Donkey and horses, they can see trees. They can see the road, right? They will not go and collide on a tree. So you are safe when you are driving horses or riding horses, rather, than when you drive a car. But, you know, those people said, this is technology. Of course, you'll be the one to drive the car. You'll be the one to control everything. But this is what will get you to where you want to get to faster. But a lot of people started war. A lot of people say even vehicles are evil spirits. Do you understand? It will never thrive. It will never be a success because people will prefer horses and donkeys than cars. But what is happening today? Anyone that rides donkey right now, is it that the person is a member of maybe there's a particular event that is happening that the person now is riding a donkey. But I can't say, okay, right now, in all the vehicles that are available, is donkey I want to buy and be riding to work. I can't say that, right? I can't do that. I can't say, okay, since I'll be working on the island now because of traffic, I need to go and buy a horse so that I'll just be like, you know, I'll just be racing my horse. No, all those things will go out. Now let us take ourselves 10 years back, or let me say 20 years back, year 2000. Look at what happened, you know, with mobile phone penetration into Africa. 2000, mobile phones were not this much, right? Some people do not even have mobile phones, right? You know, when mobile phones even got into Nigeria, you know, a lot of people were skeptical. I remember my dad and my mom went to buy MTN SIM. They bought the SIM and they bought the phone, I think, a year after. They first bought SIM and kept it under the leather box at home. And it was very expensive. They were guiding it with all diligence, their heart and everything, because SIM cards were expensive than mobile phones then, right? So people were treasuring it. Remember the days of Nitel? If you have Nitel in your house, landline, you are a king. Yes. You're like a boss. Do you understand? But right now, go on the streets of Ikeja, you're going to see mobile phones, 13,000 naira, 12,000 naira, 7,000 naira, 8,000 naira. And people are getting mobile phones. There's a proliferation of mobile phones everywhere. And this is how it's going to be for remote villages as well. We're talking about technology access. It's going to get there. It will get there. It will get there. So when we talk about sustainability of, you know, technology in these remote areas, I ask people about cars. How did cars come to be? How did cars thrive? How are we able to drive cars up and down that we can see cars at every nook and cranny right now, right? Everybody, like a lot of people can afford cars right now. But before it wasn't so. And that's how technology is. It's going to get there. We have organizations that are working to take tabs into remote villages. We have organizations that are investing a lot in technology. For example, the telcos, their joy or their competitive advantage is, when I talk about the telcos, I mean the technology company, MTN, Glo, Etisalat, what have you. Their competitive advantage is their ability to go into remote villages. So if they want to be really competitive, they find new grounds to gain. They find new locations to erect their mast so that internet can get there, their network can get there, and people can buy SIM cards and use it and pay for their data. And that's how it's going to keep going. And then the point is, a lot of people are investing a lot in technology in terms of even making technology, especially for learning, much more accessible by even making people learn through USSD codes. So for example, if you don't even have a smartphone, you can learn using your small, in Yoruba, they call it Tonosobe phone, those touchlight mobile phones, right? So you can just dial star something, and then you have access to learning. There's Digiland that is currently doing that in Abuja. So people are dialing the USSD codes and are having access to learn. So that means someone on the farm, in the village, with that small mobile phone can just press star something and give the phone to his kids to be reading the little messages that they are sending every day. Education is happening. So education is going to go wide. People are going to learn about education technology. So it's important that we as educators key into this on time and start thinking of solutions that can work. We need many people in the ed tech space. The education technology space is wide. You need to find opportunities to want to invest in that space. Look for new ideas that work. If you're looking at to go, look for new things that can work, and you will be surprised at how people will jump at your innovation and want to even support and fund it. You just need interesting ideas that can work. The truth is, technology is very, very sustainable. It's going to go wide. Nothing is going to stop it. Nothing ever can stop technology. And that's the truth. Even the government cannot stop it. That's the truth. It's going to go wide and wide and wide. I don't know if, this session is recorded, but the truth is, well, I'll still say this. Like I and my friend were discussing last 2 weeks or so, and he mentioned something. It was like, you see these technology guys, especially those in the big tech, they are the ones that will be the government of the future. You can imagine what happened in the last US election, where they shut down Trump's account. Donald Trump, that's the president of the United States of America. That's the one of the, arguably is the most powerful president in the world. And then his Twitter account and Facebook account was shut down. It could not communicate. And that was done by technology entrepreneurs. We have Elon Musk that is launching SpaceX. SpaceX is a company that takes people to space. There's currently an expedition to space right now, and it has gone for months. I don't know how many months right now, but I think the journey is going to go into years. But when they get to the planet over there, right, they will come back and tell us how it looks like, because they are looking for how to take people from living from this earth to go and be living in Mars. They're already trying to build a city in Mars so that people can start living in Mars. That's how crazy technology is. So you can imagine if Elon Musk is successful and then he builds a city in Mars. What has happened? He has built a country on his own, or in another planet, another new world on its own. So technology is actually not going to stop. And so if we want to make things happen in the education space, we must key into available technology, innovate and think of ideas and bring it to
life. Okay. All right. It's interesting that you just talked about keying into the available technology that we have. Now, how can we get people or stakeholders, if I will, and by stakeholders, I mean, parents, teachers, educators, individuals, everyone in general, because one of the things that was consistent, or that has been consistent in the course of this conference, is that we are all stakeholders in the educational sector. Everyone has a responsibility in building the educational system. So how can we get more of those, more of the people or more of the stakeholders involved, in helping our schools make the transitions into leveraging the available tech that we have?
Yeah, so one thing I would say is that orientation is key, education is key. We need to keep talking about this. Like I used to call myself like the EdTech evangelist, talk about education technology so that people can hear and people can know and know that it works well. This is me currently educating on EdTech. As educators that we are, is meant to be the language on our lips everywhere we go to. If we are in our schools, we tell our school heads how we can do things efficiently and better. There's a teacher I know in our community at School Inca. She's always helping our school improve. Even before COVID-19, they have started using e-lesson notes, right? So they submit their lesson notes via PDFs and all of these things, and it's easily gradable, right? They're able to correct, and then before Monday, everybody's lesson notes is already submitted, right? They've already started using technology to clock into classrooms and all of these things. They've already started using technology to send results to parents at home and all of these things. So the little things matter when it comes to, helping parents, helping school owners, helping school leaders, helping the school community actually understand the importance of education. One thing that, when it comes to technology, when you want to win people's heart for technology, is that you need to start, there's something they call the MVP, the minimum viable product. People do not understand big technology. That's the truth. So you need to release something that's really minute. Start from simple to complex. Start from known to unknown. So when it comes to technology, integrating technology into work, you don't just bring out your technology, wham, and bring it into your school. What you are going to do is that you're going to overwhelm your school community. So, but when you start with, you can even start with as little as, we are going to be using, Google Form for certain quizzes or tests or something, so that Google Form is easily accessible, right? And then when we do it, people will be able to see their scores and all of this. Will make the scores available online on Google Sheet and all of these things, right? You can start from that, and then people see that it works. Once people see that it works, you move to another stage. You introduce other tools as well. And before you know it, people begin to buy into your technology. Before you know it, you've already brought in many tools into your school. And one thing I would say is that you need to have a clear plan for introducing technology into your school. And that's something we charge our teachers at school. In fact, for some schools, we used to design technology integration plan for them, right? How they can integrate technology in their schools. So you need to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you just find yourself jumping from one tool to another tool to another tool to another tool and doing different kind of things. So you need to have a plan that would not confuse your teachers, that will not confuse your students, they will not confuse your parents and then the school leaders and school administrators. So if you're able to draw a perfect plan that works well, tested and proven, it will be easy for you to integrate it in schools. And then, yeah, proper education to the parents, very, very important, very key. So I've said, I think 3 different things. One, proper education, orientate people and make them know that technology is important. Then also move from simple to complex, move from known to unknown. So start from a minimum viable product that works, introduce it to them. And when they test it and they see that it works, you can, cascade that, right? And then, put another on it. And then before you know it, then 3, have a clear technology integration plan that you're going to use to integrate technology into your work. Of course, communication is key, like I said. Always communicate to your school community, the stakeholders.
All right, thank you so much. Please, if you have questions for Kayode, please use the Q&A section on the platform and we will get to the questions in a bit. So Kayode, let's talk about Schoolinka again. How is Schoolinka helping, drive this change, all of this leveraging tech that we've been talking about? You just mentioned that, you help schools design tech integration plans and all of that. So tell us more about what Schoolinka is doing to drive this change that we are talking about.
Yes, so one thing we are doing at Schoolinka is that we are really focusing on helping teachers learn about using technology. We have a program called the DigiPro program, Digital Learning Pro. And the program is designed to, equip teachers with knowledge of about 7 tech tools that they can use to power learning in their classroom. And these tools are actually designed because the program is really designed, so we have 3 overarching principles or objectives of this program. The first one is that we want teachers to learn how to create and maintain an online classroom. Creating and maintaining an online classroom is different from creating and maintaining a physical classroom, right? In physical classroom, you can scold your teachers, right? You can scold your students and scold them physically. They see your face is red, and then they will hear you, right? But on your online classroom, they are not looking at your face, so they're not looking at Uche's face at all. Do you understand? So they don't know what's going on. In fact, a child can just like on the Zoom and just go and play. And you think that the child is on the call, but the child is not there. Do you understand? So there are strategies by which you can use to create an online classroom. So that's one objective. Another objective is that we want teachers to learn how to design engaging content, right? Online content, online learning content that you can send to their students. For example, how you can create videos, how you can create, PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint that you can use to facilitate learning. Because we believe that if you can design, for example, if you do a PowerPoint on how to learn vowel sounds and all of these things, and then you're displaying on your Zoom call, the students will really love it. Do you know all those things, right? Beautiful learning and engaging content for your students. You learn how to do that. And then the third and last objective is that we want teachers to learn how to use simple drag and drop tools to conduct online test quizzes for their students. We believe that as a teacher, if you can create and maintain an online classroom, you can design engaging content and deliver it to your students using multimedia resources, and then you can grade their learning and ascertain whether they've learned, right, through assessment and all of these things online. Then you can confidently say that you are a tech teacher, right? A tech savvy teacher, because that's what learning is all about. So we have different tools that we train teachers on, free tools mostly that they can make use of to actually power digital learning in their classroom. So it's usually a 2 weekends program, Saturday, Sunday, 8 learning hours. And at the end of the teachers get a certificate. So this is what we currently do. And of course, we also have an online learning platform that teachers can sign up to take online courses. Currently, we have 2 courses there. And one of the courses we have is how to use, Microsoft Excel Excel to create an online test. Sorry, Microsoft, I say Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Forms to create online tests, right, and grade it automatically. We also have an online course on how to, design digital lesson planning, right? So how to do digital lesson planning. We are looking forward to host more courses on that platform as months go by. So the platform is schoollinker.com. I'll type in the chat box so you can just simply, log on to the platform and then sign up as a user. Currently, they are fixing some bugs on it, but right now you can sign up as a user on that platform. And then once you sign up as a user, you can take those 2 courses for free right now. Very soon we'll start charging, but you can take it for free right now. So free gift to you all. So that's what, like, some of the interventions that we are actually doing to actually help teachers be tech competent in this age.